Today we are going to complete the final lecture on Justice is Blind. In the past class, what I had taught you is that suddenly Mr. Spangler's absolute ranting on this is unfair and this is not justice dawns on Mr. Page, and he nods his head like someone who has come in a different office to ask for a completely different thing. And he said, "My dear boy," Mr. Page repeated, "that has nothing in the world to do with it." "Oh, absolutely nothing. Justice has absolutely nothing with the concept of suing someone." His manner had changed instantly. As he spoke these words. He shook his round and solid face quickly, grimly, with a kind of bulldog tenacity that characterized his utterance when he stated an established fact. He nodded his head sideways to show his absolute non-agreement with what Mr. Spangler is saying, that justice has nothing to do with the fact that he is being wrongly sued. "Absolutely nothing," cried Mr. Page, and shook his bulldog jaw again. "You say you can't be sued unless you have done something to be sued about. My dear sir," here Mr. Page turned in his chair and looked grimly at his client with a kind of bulldog earnestness. Despite the fact that Pickett and Page have been given so much of reverence in the short story, Mr. Page is given animal-like adjectives, bulldog tenacity. And you will find that the narrator is mocking Mr. Page as well. Pronouncing his words now deliberately and gravely, with the emphasis of a slowly moving finger, as if he wanted to rivet every syllable and atom of his meaning into his client's brain and memory. He finally, when he spoke to Mr. Spangler, he spoke with a determination to get everything into Mr. Spangler's head. "My dear sir," said Mr. Page grimly, solemnly, someone who is going to pronounce something grave and bad, negative. "You are laboring under a grave misapprehension. You are under a complete misunderstanding. You're laboring under a grave misapprehension. You're not apprehending, understanding certain important things. If you think you have to do something to be sued about, do not delude yourself. This has nothing on the earth to do." And then again we have one page missing. So now you have this man who has been a lawyer for such a long time in his life pronounce the final judgment that do not be under this misconception that you cannot be sued unless you've done something wrong. And after, now let's just say that the entire page that is missing to us has been an explanation of Mr. Page that law and justice are two different things and anybody can be sued for anything. Then you have the last paragraph, 595. But he managed presently to say, "Why, there's no justice in this thing." He burst out indignantly, someone who feels he's been terribly wronged. In his excitement, making use of the discredited word again, discredited, a word that has no longer any credit, a word that has no longer any weightage, the term justice. Even after Mr. Page's earnest explanation, Mr. Spangler says that there is no justice in this concept of law that you have told me. "Ah, justice," said Mr. Page, nodding. "Yes, I see now what you mean. That's quite another matter. But we are not talking of justice, we are talking of the law. Quote these lines. We are not talking of justice, we are talking of law. Mr. Page and even the narrator has sarcastically shown you that there is a gaping distance between what is law and what is justice. This is the core of the story. The story differentiates between the two considered synonymous concepts, law and justice, and therefore states very clearly, in no mean terms, that they are two very different things. To confuse one with the other is to demand justice where you should be demanding law. Okay, let's move further. We are talking of the law, which brings us to this case of yours. And reaching out a pudgy hand, he pulled out the mass of papers towards him and began to read them. Such was our pilgrim's introduction to that strange, fantastic pilgrim, Mr. Spangler, client. Pilgrim's introduction to that strange, fantastic world of twist and weave, that labyrinth. Labyrinth is a maze, is a maze where you get lost, a labyrinth of passages, a labyrinth of tunnels, where it goes so zigzag that you lose your way. So the labyrinth cave, at the end of which waits the Minotaur, the law. The Minotaur is a kind of a fierce looking animal, the law. And the narrator ends the story on the concept. So the narrator ends this story on the pilgrim, that is Mr. Spangler, entering the labyrinth, the zigzag manner, the zigzag mannerism of Mr. Page, in the end to meet the Minotaur. Minotaur, the fierce looking animal, not justice but law. So when you have to describe and talk about this story, we first talk about the plot. What is the plot? Is the difference between justice and law. Second, who is the narrator of the short story? It is an omniscient narrator, O-M-N-I-S-C-I-E-N-T. Omniscient means present everywhere. So the narrator has not taken part in the story but seems to be hovering around it. Either is someone who has witnessed the story as a silent spectator or has heard it from someone. So it has an omniscient narrator. Then you talk about the characters, the two main characters that you recognize in the story. Mr. Spangler, what do you understand of him? He is a normal common man who has been sued by a woman for wrong reasons. He feels indignant, he feels that he's been wronged. He tried to do someone good but ended up taking a lot of pain on himself for doing that. So he suffered the consequences of almost being a good Samaritan. Then you have the plot summary or the story summary, where you talk about how when he entered the hallowed gates of law, how out of place someone feels, how intimidating law is, and Mr. Page's words when he realizes what is it that is disturbing Mr. Spangler. He feels the sense of being wronged, for being sued for something he did not even commit. He committed no fraud, no wrong, and the entire story revolves around the concept of Mr. Page trying to make Mr. Spangler later understand that law has got nothing to do with justice. And therefore, justice and law stand at two different ends, and they do not meet. Anybody can sue anybody for anything. One does not have to do anything wrong to be sued anymore. The narrator is also throwing a reflection on the society in which we are living in, where each and everything is justified till the time it can be justified through the tenets of law. So again, what kind of a society are we living in? What kind of people and individuals has the world come to? And these are the issues that make up the core themes of the short story. We have formally ended with Justice is Blind, and now we are left with another very sad essay, which we will begin day after tomorrow.